Start. Okay, we're back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wild Thoughts with your host, The Big Bang. Today, we got a great knowledge drip for you today. My throat's still hurting, so luckily, I have found somebody. We've had her on the show before. Her name is Charlotte. She's been great success for us, and today we're going to have her talk about confidence. So, Charlotte, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay, hi. Like you said, my name's Charlotte. It's great to be on this Big Bang with Wild Thoughts with Isaiah again. And
It is
I
great.
want to, talk about what the state of confidence is not first, and then I'm going to talk about what the state of confidence is. And in each one, I'm going to identify the three things that are linked to what it is and what it is not.
Okay. That sounds like a very
Okay.
good topic, since we do go over the self-confidence formula a lot, and confidence is a big part of being a leader, and that's what we like to go over in this knowledge drip: how to become leaders and build self-confidence within yourself.
That's true.
It's true.
So to get into it is, number one, the state of confidence is not external. What do I mean by that? I mean that everything that we come in contact with in our life, we have a lot of external forces that move forward. And I can go into a lot about that, because once you start doing that, and you get that first elation that comes from just changing the way you think inside, or the way that you voice, let me say that, the way you voice what's inside, and that feeling will start to change once you voice and say, I know that this will happen, or I know I can do this. And then you get a boost of confidence once you actually manifest those internal things, those thoughts that you've realized that, hey, I have the power within myself to be able to manifest things in my life. And that's a boost of confidence in itself. And I will talk about that. I won't want to get off the subject, but this is very closely linked, in my view, and I know it is, to manifestation.
Yes, manifestation.
You really can't have confidence without knowing that you are manifesting things in your life. So, so without further ado, let's move on to the third reason why I put that seeing the external, the reasons why it is not what is not confidence, and that is seeing the external as a threat. So if you, this is closely linked to the first thing I said, is that I said that it's not external. But in that regard, I'm referring to you knowing that these things that you're going to manifest are the things that are confident, that you're wanting to be confident about. That's not coming from anything outside you. Okay?
Right.
But in this sense, seeing the external as a threat. So you're dealing with things in your life, and instead of your view being, or you may go around thinking, oh, well, this person doesn't like me, or what if this doesn't work, or my credit's bad, so I'm not going to get it, or what else? I'm not going to find the pair of jeans that I need at the store. Before you even get started, you've already completely diminished any possibility of success.
And that's because that's what a lot of people do. I mean, who hasn't done that before, right? They say something,
Right.
and then they think they're going to be good at it, and it's possible that they only try it maybe once. Or, right? Is that what you're trying to get at? Once they try it once, or they try to, or we try to, as human becomings, workers of our lives, we try to think about how it could easily not work for us. So we think like that.
Basically, we're seeing it, and I guess my point is that yes, and that's right. That's correct. But seeing it as a threat, that you see everything as, oh, it's not there for you. This has got to be bad for me. No matter what it is, your mind goes to, I'm going to have a bad experience. No matter what it is, because it could be a lot of reasons tied to that, and without getting into it too much, but basically, it could be tied to past traumas. A lot of times it is the reason that we see the external as a threat all the time, that everything that we come in contact with is going to be a bad experience, or it's not going to work out, because I know these, when you're then on the verse, you're saying, I know these things are not going to work out. Well, if you use that on the other part, and saying, instead of saying, I know these things aren't going to work out, saying, I know this is going to work out.
Right.
Then things will start changing just by you not saying or thinking that the external is a threat in your life, and everything around, our point of view, our perspective.
So when you say
how we see reality, basically how we see reality.
Right. So when you say threats, are you also kind of talking about fear a little bit, or just threats?
Yeah, I would say it is linked to fear, because, like I said, traumas usually generate fear. Not healing from past traumas. Keep us from moving forward to those things. And I'll give an example. So I had not passed my math portion in high school of my POS test, and I never passed that section, and therefore I never graduated. And I didn't graduate. Let me say, I never graduated with my class.
Right.
So, all that build up and all that excitement that they do, like, oh, you're going to get your cap and gown in your hand and everything. I went through all that emotion just to be told. And I'm literally walking into my graduation, ceremony with my cap and gown in hand. And they come and tell me, you can't go. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't go? They're like, because you missed and get this, I missed it by 1 point. So, and that was devastating. The whole thing is very traumatic, because just the way it happened, you think about that. And anyway, so I had, without even realizing it, I had developed this fear, I had seen it as an external threat. Anytime anybody said anything about diploma, or I would get upset, and I'd talk about how that, how the school system was just bullshit and all fucked up, because, how are you going to keep me in school for 12 years and not let me graduate? I was all upset,
Right.
And I seen it. I was ready to pass it off as a threat. But I had an influential, someone that was there to serve me in my life, tell me, just go back and take the test again. And immediately when they said it, I was like, I didn't even see that as a possibility. And immediately when they said it, I was like, a fear gripped me, like, I can't do that. Because, I want to tell you that I had tried before, after this traumatic thing happened to me, and I failed, and I felt worse. I felt worse than 1 point when I tried again. I went to summer school and said, I'll get it, and I didn't get to graduate with the class, but I'll figure it out, a few years later. When it didn't happen, I had completely just said, you know what, I'm mad at this whole thing. I lost it. It's never going to happen. So I said all those things. until, like I said, there was an influential person in my life at the time that was there to serve me, said, hey, go back, just take the test. Anyway, I went back, took the test. I went in there with a whole different state of mind. I said, you know what? I'm going to take this test, and I'm going to pass it. I don't know how I'm going to pass it, because I surely have, after I don't know how long it had been. It had been a significant amount of time. I was rusty on my math. But you know what? I went in there with the confidence that I was going to pass it.
Confidence. When you say this confidence, did you also know you were going to pass it, or what were you thinking at that time?
I knew. When I went in there, I remember I had to really, really work on my thoughts. I remember that. And this is probably my very first encounter with real fear and the real struggle that comes with trying to discharge all those external things that were working to keep me from experiencing that self-confidence that I needed to have to manifest the results that I wanted.
So when you were in schooling, did they teach you a lot about self-confidence and knowing that you could pass these type of things, or
no?
So this
the
is
opposite.
This is all stuff you had to learn on your own, because
myself.
they teach you fear,
As you
kind
go
of.
through life, yeah.
They teach you.
Yeah, no one's teaching.
They teach you fear of failing, right? They teach you that failing is bad, and so now you have to go back and take this test after.
Very prominent.
Yeah,
in
so
schools and in education is just, like, I don't know how many times I heard, you gotta pass this or else you're not gonna get a job, and if you don't get a job, then you're not gonna be successful, and so much tied to external things, controlling,
Right.
And let me just tie this in, that this is only metaphoric. See, this can be, the fact that I went back and I took the test is good, and of course, the story is going to end that I did pass. But I didn't just pass. I passed with flying colors, by the way. And it wasn't just by 1 point. It was by a lot of points. And to this day, I remember looking at it like, when I got it, I was like, is that my name?
It was easy for you.
Right. But I was like, wow, And then, without getting off the subject, what I was going to say, but that didn't have to go that way. What I'm trying to say is, a lot of people, it could be on so many levels, right? A lot of people say, oh, well, you have to have your diploma in order to be successful. No. Again, that's external things trying to tell you how you should think internally. And that is not that is not it. But the whole thing I use it for metaphorically is that this was a real situation where I actually was able to implement the power of going internal instead of letting the external things and traumas and voices and all these things saying, oh man, you've been out of school for this long and it's not going to happen, right?
Right.
All those things I had to block out, or not really block out. I knew they were there, but I had to change it around and say, you know what? I know this is going to happen because I am going to bring it from inside of me and not use it outside. And looking back now, I know that the reason I never was able to do it was because I did not have this key to unlock that inside of myself. Because ultimately, it's for everyone, even if they consciously or unconsciously are able to do it. You have people who are just geniuses, or they say, oh, they're just smart. Well, maybe not. But one thing I know that they have to have, and even if they are smart enough to pass, right? If they have all the answers, but if you take away that confidence, which is the key to unlock manifestation, then it's what makes it happen for every single person.
Right.
And so the third thing was seeing the external as a threat.
And that's all things. That's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to go over this part right here. And
Okay.
I'm going to read this
And then
for the self-confidence formula, one that says, because we were talking about the lack and how to get it, and then we'll go over what you were talking about earlier, how to get the self-confidence. Is that right? Is that what you wanted to go over next? Is that right?
yeah, there are three things. And I pretty much said it, so I'll just quickly go over it.
All right, here we go. I'm going to read this real quick, and then you can continue yours, all right?
Absolutely.
All right. Not only does lack of the necessities for struggle lead to weakness of ambition and willpower, but what is more dangerous still, it's set up in a person's mind a state of lethargy that leads to the loss of self-confidence. The person who has quit struggling because effort is no longer necessary is literally applying the principle of autosuggestion and undermining his own power of self-confidence. Such a person will finally drift into a frame of mind in which he will actually look with more or less contempt upon the person who is forced to carry on. The human mind, if you will, pardon repetition, may be likened to an electric battery. It may be positive or it may be negative. Self-confidence is the quality with which the mind is recharged and made positive. That's it. That's self-confidence. Recharging your battery.
Very good. Very good and very good. Good summation.
Yeah, that's right.
So, okay. Number one of what the state of confidence is it's definitely internal. Like I said before, while I was explaining what it is not, it is internal because it comes from inside you. And you'll know because obviously you have to go through that struggle of knowing that, okay, I got to pull this out from inside of me and mute those external influences. And then number two is knowing, right? And I already said that in my summation of what it is not, but just to kind of rephrase it, knowing the state of confidence, or knowing is the state of confidence, because when you know something, you're not guessing. You've done all your research, if that's what you need to do, if that helps to bring inside of you, or to manifest that inside of you, that state of confidence, then you researched about whatever it is that you don't know. That way you can't say, well, I'm not really sure about this. When you come in contact with something and somebody's talking really big over your head, or you're like, oh, I don't really understand what they're saying. Well, again, to have that state of confidence, you may have to do some research. You may have to find out about it. And then you can say, I know. And then as far as manifestation goes, having a state of confidence is sometimes you may not see it. You may not, it'll be everything but what you see. It doesn't look good, right? The whole thing doesn't look good. But don't go by what you see. You have to go by what's internally coming out of you. I know that I deserve this. I know that this is for me.
I know.
I know that this is for me. And like I said, just learning about something just helps to me, kind of give you a under like a foundation, something to go on. But ultimately, it is saying I know no matter what external things that you see, and really pulling it out of you, and not letting any external things come in and say, that's never going to happen. Come on, let's get real, And a lot of times you'll hear that, come on, be real. Well, you actually are being real.
Yes, you have to be truthful to yourself when you're being real.
Exactly.
It's part of knowing.
Yes. And then number 3 is seeing the external as assistance. So I talked about what it is not, seeing the external as a threat. So seeing the external as assistance only helps to manifest, or the state of knowing that the external is an assistant. They're there to assist us. This is where they're to assist them. So seeing the external, okay, they're there to serve you. So whatever it is that you want to manifest, that you said, I know that it's going to happen, then you have to say, everything that I come in contact with, no matter whether it be viewed, right? Again, you have to erase all view of what may, the external things that may be saying, oh, this is how it is. Just erase that, and then when you're going through the whole process of manifestation or exhibiting that state of confidence, you're more likely to view the external as assistance in your life, because now you're saying, no matter what this person says, I know that they're there to assist me.
Right.
I know it. And I just have to find it. And usually when I went through this, and I speak from experience, that I will find there's a key to unlocking that in that moment. Situations don't always look good.
They don't always look good.
And it's not always going to come to you in like the form of winning the lottery. It may come into you in the form of saying, oh, we're going to take this. But what I say is, how is this situation, this happening to me? How are they here right now to serve me? And then I look at how I look back and I say, okay, what did I say I wanted to manifest?
Right. You have to go back because you're really
reevaluate
right.
what you said.
You're really like,
and then usually that light bulb comes on. That's what I've experienced. In my experience, a light bulb comes on, and I'm like, I understand now why this is happening. This person is here in my life because this is exactly what I need to happen in order to manifest. And then there you go.
And there you go.
Magic.
Because you are condemning yourself. You're condemning yourself to poverty, misery, or failure. Or you're driving yourself on towards the heights of great achievement, just solely by the thoughts that you think. If you demand for success of yourself and then back up this demand with an intelligent action, you are sure to win. Bear in mind, though, that there is a difference between demanding success and just merely wishing for it. And you need to know the difference between demanding for success and then taking advantage of it. You know what that is? You know what I'm talking about, Charlotte?
Well, I use this example with a lot of people who come to me and say, or I try to explain to how to start manifesting things in your life, or having the self-confidence, if you will, or being in a total state of confidence no matter what's going on in your life. And one of the first tests, I feel like, that once you start to go down this path, that I feel like a lot of us, this has happened to pretty much everybody. I don't know one single person that I've asked that this hasn't happened to them. So I ask you, Have you ever been out or at your house and somebody said, "Hey, you dropped this money"? What's the first thing? What's your response?
Drops, like, what are you talking? Like, I'm sitting at my house, and then someone knocks on my door.
Wherever, grocery store, parking lot, job.
Yes.
Say, hey, you dropped.
Yeah, I mean,
dropped this. What is your first? Not your first reaction, but let me ask you this: what's your first thought?
Like,
and don't think too hard about like what I've said. Just tell me what, because I mean, we're all human here, we don't manifest things, but yeah, what's your first thought?
Oh, thank you for picking that up. Thank you for giving that back to me.
That's okay. So that's your first. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. Well, my first thought was in the beginning of my process to understand what it was to manifesting in your life, or getting past the right and wrong concept. And
did you say that one? The writing room concept?
No, the right and wrong concept.
Oh, right and wrong. I thought you said the writing room concept. Yeah. I was like, this is new.
Right.
Shit, we're dropping some real knowledge here.
And so a lot of people are like, I don't want to take advantage of anybody, right? Like, somehow you feel like, oh, if this came to me, that means that, immediately our thoughts go to, I'm taking advantage of somebody. Like, the first thing is like, this, wait a second. Hold on now, let's back up. Let's say that somebody else did drop it. Okay, they did. It was on the floor. The one thing, is that a lot of people say, it's not mine, right? That was my first response when this stuff happened to me.
Right.
Oh, it's not mine. That was my first reaction, it's not mine, right?
Right.
Instead of saying, thank you, right? And then I started getting into understanding, manifestation, and then actually knowing, right, that I am going to, like, saying to myself, I'm going to manifest, and I'm worthy of good things happening to me in my life. And that's another thing. A lot of people say, no, I'm not worthy of that, something's given to them. Oh, give it to somebody else. I'm not worthy, right?
Yeah, and once you say you're not worthy of something, once you decide that it should not be yours, the gift that was given to you that is very abundant for everybody is now going to be taken away from you because you said it's not yours, or I'm not worthy of it. And once you say I'm not worthy of it, then that part of your life might not ever come back to you, or it might not.
Yeah, it may not ever come around, that opportunity.
It might not ever come around again because you turned it down once. Yeah. You can even do it with small things. For example, if I offer somebody a piece of gum and they say no, now I'm not ever going to ask that person again to give them anything, because I know that they're going to tell me no, and that they don't want stuff that I'm offering unto them. And if somebody says that they don't want something I am offering to them, sorry, I'm a little sick, so it's hard for me to talk, and that's why I'm really glad you're on today. And
it's good to give examples.
Yeah, so it's just like that. If somebody tells you no one time, for example, for me, if somebody tells me no and I offer them something, I'm not going to ask them again, not only because I feel like they're taking away their own power to get even just a little bit of thing, just a stick of gum. Who doesn't want that? Or some sunflower seeds. I don't know. And if they say no to that, then I'm not going to ask them again, because now I feel like, even from me, when I asked them, I feel like they took away some of the gifts that I was trying to give them, and then now I don't want to offer any more opportunities for that person because they told me no. Sometimes it can be small like that.
That doesn't take away from the fact that you still want to offer gum.
That doesn't take it. I'll find someone else to offer gum to, and they'll take it.
You'll find someone else, and again, that ties into confidence, because that's a little kind of evaluation of how, how our confidence over time can be diminished by external forces. Right. You want to be that person that, like, gives gum or whatever it is that you want to give. whether you want to give comfort. When you were saying that situation, I said, I never. I mean, I not said I never, but I never wanted to like do something like I did this day that I'm about to mention. But as I started to really do self-work, I found that I did a lot of things that would have intimidated me before. And, so it was a journey for me, and it was a very good journey. But I remember one day I got on this bus, and there was this lady, and she was crying. I mean, she was crying. Like somebody had just tore out her heart. And I remember everybody around me kind of intimidated. It was like, because my initial thought was like, go to her. She's an absolute stranger, but I don't care. She's crying, right?
Right.
And she's really crying, and she needs someone right now. And there's nobody sitting by her. Nobody around was looking at her except for me that seemed concerned. And so I remember just saying, you know what, I'm just going to go over there. I don't know if this lady is going to push me away. I really don't care. And I went over there, and I just put my arms around her, and I just cried with her, And I remember I said, I don't know what happened, I said a few words to her, and it wasn't really something that she wanted to share, and that was totally fine. And I didn't expect that. I wasn't expecting that. I just saw, her crying, and I was like, wow. But she never said a word to me.
She never said a word, just cried together.
Right. She just cried. We just cried together. But I remember looking at the faces, you know what I'm saying? I remember still battling that inside me, that state of self-confidence of really not caring what the external forces may, want to try to keep you from manifesting in your life, or which is that confidence to go up to somebody or do something for somebody when you know that you want to. Not so much that, it's good that people need that, right? But
right.
You also need to want to do that. You need to want. So I wanted to do that, and I did it. So that's the point of where I'm trying to get at. That's the meat of why I even said this story, is that I wanted to do something. I felt the intimidation, right? And I did it anyway.
You felt the fear, and then you did it anyways.
Yeah, I did it anyway.
That is actually.
Like, what are people gonna?
That's actually one of the That's one of the self-confidence post-its notes I have on my wall here. It says, "Feel the fear and do it anyways."
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I just even, like I said, I even remember like being watching in that bus while people were looking at me, and they were like, I couldn't believe it. When I thought about it, I was like, wow, it's not me that needs to change, It's the external that needs to change.
Right. The way you view the external.
Yeah, exactly. The way I view the external that needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can't really change that external view until you change your internal view of yourself.
Exactly. And so that's it. And yeah. So
we were
back to what I was saying, seeing the external as assistance. That again is key to being confident. Knowing that whatever pops up in your life, whatever is taking place, thing, person, you know that they're there to assist you. No matter the anything, whatever it's linked with, that is very much part of not only manifestation, but being confident.
Being confident. Charlotte, we're at 35 minutes now. You said you wanted to go 30
Yeah, I
minutes.
figured.
How much longer do you
Yeah.
want to go? We can go for a couple more minutes,
I don't
or
know.
how do you feel about this? How do you know right now? Or should we?
No, I think I've pretty much covered everything, and then it's still early. I didn't have no coffee.
Yeah. Guys, everyone, we got up I
And
asked
I'm usually
Charlotte.
my body is usually sleeping at this time, so it's like what is going on?
Right. Guys,
But again, I was up. I was ready to answer that phone because guess what? I'm not working on external forces. I'm working on internal. And
Internal.
internally, I was sleeping thinking about what I was going to say to you.
that's good. Yeah. Guys, just let all the listeners of Wild Thoughts. We did start recording around 4:22, something like that, 4:22 a.m. Because I asked her to get up early just to see if she would and see if I could do it, because I know I could do it. And I like these early morning knowledge drips anyways. They really, I don't know if you're a big Bible reader or not, Charlotte, but in the Bible it says that a man was put here to work. And by that meaning of work, it means getting to know itself, beginning to become himself. So, that's what we're doing here. We're working on becoming internally confident. Kind of something like that. Man was given here to work to know, to become himself. And Charlotte, you really did a great job today, or not a great job. You really worked it on my subconscious mind, and it's
Going
good.
into that,
It's good to have
sorry, I just
every once in a while. It's good to have some other opinions on self-confidence other than my own, and it's good to hear that. And I really am grateful because you added a lot of value to me. So I just want to say thank you for adding value to me and my internal world.
That's good. That's good. That's exactly what I was hoping.
Yes, you added internal value. Now, let's see. Is there anything else you want to go over? Should we finish it out with the self-confidence formula? Because we're at almost 38 minutes, and that's a long knowledge drip for me.
No, I think you pretty much wrapped it up. You mentioned in there that the scripture, and I do know that the Bible's a little bit of it's like a coded type of thing. So
Right.
I encoded a scripture, I want to say a long time ago. It says God is possible with all things, and then change that around. With God, all things are possible.
All things
So
are
basically
possible.
and then change it around. God is possible with all things.
That's right. Because
Just leave you with that one.
yeah, God didn't give you
In other words, now
God
it comes external. Instead of you just change the external to internal in that same statement.
Right.
In that scripture. Yeah, so.
That's good. Because God didn't give you a chair. He gave you the wood and the tree to build the chair. So you got to know how to find it. All right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's finish it up with the self-confidence formula, and then we'll call it a day. How about that? Because now I got to go to my job here pretty soon. So
Your child.
my job. I'm done working now. I'm done working. So I'm almost done working. So now I got to get going to the damn job. All right, here we go. The self-confidence formula. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose. Listen to that first part one more time. For the self-confidence formula. I know. I know. Do you hear that, everyone? That's a great saying. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, aggressive, and continuous actions towards its attainment. I realize that the dominating thoughts of my mind eventually reproduce themselves in outward bodily action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my mind for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to be, by creating a mental picture of this person and then transforming that picture into reality through practical service. I know that through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of realizing it.
Ooh, I love that one.
Charlotte, I've been doing this for, I've been doing the self-confidence formula for a very long time. I do it almost on every knowledge drip as I close out with it. And this I know part, just from this knowledge drip today, just from you saying and me talking with somebody else, this I know is really starting to become more and more
meaningful, right?
More meaningful, more powerful. This I know, I know. And I hope there's a lot of people out there that are listening that they are able to take their levels to a higher vibration just from I knowing, So I'm going to start over on
that term, that sentence alone, that. You can go around all day just saying, I know. That would actually be significant to assist you in this journey. Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to the third part of the self-confidence formula, and we'll start that part over. I know that through the principle of auto-suggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of realizing it. Therefore, I shall devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of the factors named in the 16 lessons of this reading course on the laws of success. I have clearly, oh my gosh, my throat is hurting. I have clearly mapped out and written down a description of my definite purpose in life. For the coming 5 years, I have set a price on my service. For each of these 5 years, a price that I intend to earn and receive through strict application of the principle of efficient, satisfactory service, which I will render in advance. I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to me the forces I wish to use. Oh my gosh, really? You were talking about that in your self-confidence, what you were talking about today. Wow. You were talking about how I will succeed by attracting to me the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. Like, I'm serious. You got this shit down. I will induce others to serve me because I will first serve them. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity. Because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. Right there. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. That is how you can change your internal confidence to the external confidence. And now because you believe in yourself, you can now believe in them or know them.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like I knew that this would happen. I knew that it would tie into your self-confidence formula. Why? Because I know that we are here to, you are an assistant to me as I am an assistant to you. I'm here to assist you in your life, and you're here to assist me.
Right.
There's no person in my life at this point, should be, because I am in developing myself in the manifestation process and journey, then there should be no person in my life that's not here to serve me. So I knew that it would happen, that it would be closely linked to your what you put out there on the knowledge drip, everything that I talk about and that I already know. It's going to be there to assist you, as well as you having things on your knowledge drip there to assist me.
I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my entire life so that I will become a successful and happy worker in my chosen field of endeavor. And what did we talk about right before we started this? Self-confidence? Worker in my field of endeavor. Worker is to become. Worker is to become. So don't go to your work. You know what I'm saying? This is a hard one. Because a lot of people are drilled work, and they don't understand that work is to become who you want to be. And a job is just there to...
Exactly. It's there to assist you.
Yes.
Again.
And your job is just there to assist you a little bit, help you make a little bit of money there, a little bit of money there, while you work and become who you want to become.
Oh, yeah.
What a great way to end this. We're at 45 minutes. This is a long knowledge drip. So... Charlotte, is there like any way you want people to find you or reach out to you in any way? Or would you want them not to reach out to you?
No, of course, me and Isaiah met because I sing. I have a band now that we're starting up. So, yeah, support your local artists.
Here in Orlando. Me. Here in the state of Florida, in Orlando.
Yeah, in Orlando. Go to Charlotte Sings on Facebook and join Charlotte Sings. And I'll be posting all my events, all my performances there.
And you guys should go see Charlotte at least one time. If you follow me on the Snapchat, I record some of her if I come out and listen to her sing, and she's a great singer. And I know this. Because the first time I heard her, I was like, I got to get to know her some more. So, all right, guys. Well,
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad I did too. You can email me if you want at you guys know the email, and if you don't, go back to another podcast and go back to another Knowledge Drip and find it in one of those ones. All right. Is there anything else? Nope. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.